Yes, people. We're back again on a finished article with all things wrestling. Today, we're going to be covering the disaster of SummerSlam and NXT Takeover 36. Before I get into it, I'm going to bring my boy Shazad on. We might have to cut this one pretty short because it is getting late already. I'm going to bring my boy on. Yes, Shaz, how are we, bro? Did you enjoy SummerSlam on the weekend when we watched it together, bro? We good?
Where do I start, bro? So I enjoyed
My
hanging
man's
out.
skipping everything. He's just going straight into it, bro. You go, bro.
I enjoyed hanging out, enjoyed grabbing some food. I was looking forward to SummerSlam because first pay-per-view we watched together in almost 10, 15 years, maybe longer. And I
Yeah,
thought, you
long
know
time,
what,
bro.
it'll be interesting because it's a Saturday night. That's the one thing WWE did right, is they put it at a decent time so we could actually watch it. Although having done that experience, I don't think I could do that again considering how bad the pay-per-view was.
Old age getting
Let,
up to
let,
you there,
let,
bro.
Unfortunately, yes.
But this
Let's.
comment below, this is from Shazad. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what he's saying, bro.
By the way,
These are his comments, bro.
everything you see in terms of banner wise, I did them. Shaz had no input
I'm leaving
because
him there just to let you know. I'm letting Vince McMahon know as well how much Shaz is pissed off with WWE right now.
Vinnie Mac messed up his Super Bowl of the summer. Basically, that's what happened. He basically
Bro,
actually
SummerSlam was awful, man. That's the only way I can put it. The only part
SummerSlam
of
is
SummerSlam I actually liked, bro, I'll be honest with you, was Damian Priest beating Sheamus for the US title. I thought that was a good move.
SummerSlam is effectively WWE's flagship show after WrestleMania. But yes, to go on
It's one
to
of the main,
what
it's
one
one
of
of the
the
main
main ones.
four
So
views of
one
the
of the
year,
reasons
innit?
why I enjoy watching SummerSlam is the variety of matches what we've seen in the past. Mainly a classic from back in the 90s when Austin and Triple H fought, and you had The Rock
Yeah,
come
bro.
out and save his ass. But that's just one example. But anyway, going back, let me jump to it. Legends
Legends
like
like
Goldberg.
Goldberg and Cena need to call it a day.
I mean, Shaz
Again,
had
Shaz, again, just before you move on from there, Shaz, I want you to explain why you put this there, bro. I want you to explain everything that you told me
so
before now on the show, bro. I want everyone to hear it, bro.
so basically, guys, I've been watching wrestling since the early 90s. Absolutely love it, still do. Nostalgic about it, but we got to understand we're in 2021. When I see legends like Edge, Goldberg, Cena to a certain extent, if you want, the different people will have their view on that. But when I see legends like these coming back, and for example, Edge winning, love the guy, but again, what we're doing is it doesn't do anything for him because he retired, he's come back. Okay, so he had a neck injury and he's come back, and I don't understand the angle they're going. I understand what Shaz is saying. He's right. We had this discussion about a title shot, but bro, you're not promoting it in the right manner to say, look, you're basically telling today's generation, you know what, you're not good enough. So I would have called some banda from the 1980s to come and save us again. This
1980s, bro. Who's from the 80s, bro? This isn't Ric Flair, bro. This is Edge from the 90s, bro. Late
bro,
90s into 2000s,
you
bro.
get where I'm going with this. Goldberg again, love the guy. He's a legend. Watch what he did in WCW, early WWE days.
I've never rated Goldberg.
Okay, that's Shaz's opinion. You
Never.
can
I've
ignore that.
never rated Goldberg from the WCW days. All it was his streak that was there.
Yeah.
It was just
Was it
him beating
300,
jobbers,
500?
bro.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was, bro. It was just him beating jobbers every week, 2 or 3 times a week, just to build up the numbers, bro. And it got ridiculous. And was it
No.
who was it? Was it Kevin Nash that beat him for the
Yes.
title eventually? And good on Kevin Nash, man. Good on Kevin Nash for taking out Goldberg, man, with the NWO, man. I rate that.
No. Anyway, going back. So that's a difference of opinion. So, but what I'm trying to say is, the guy is an old school legend. Now, him coming back against the title match.
I'm gonna stop you there, bro. Goldberg's not a legend, bro. He's
Okay, it's
in
my
WWE.
opinion.
No. He's not a legend, bro. In WCW, he might have been classed as a legend, right? But
Okay.
in WWE, he's not a legend. He hasn't done anything in WWE.
Well, yeah.
Besides winning titles, he's done nothing for WWE. WWE would have been fine even if Goldberg didn't step foot in a ring in WWE.
Probably, yeah, that's probably true. But I like the guy, so I'm entitled to my opinion. So
No, I'm not saying you're not entitled to your opinion, bro. But that's what this show's about. Is about our opinions, bro. And we are gonna disagree on a few things,
oh no, that's
especially when
fine.
it comes to wrestling, bro.
So this we can agree to disagree. That's fair enough. Anyway, my point being, put the legend tag to one side. The guy is old. He's 50 plus years old or 60. I can't remember. He's fighting Bobby Lashley. Again, Bobby Lashley, I remember watching him from back in the day. One of my issues right now is not Brock Lesnar, apologies.
Bobby Lashley.
Goldberg, that match was a joke, absolute joke
100%.
from start to finish. Injury, then it was like, guys, seriously, if you're gonna put matches on, put them on to entertain. Because me and Shaz were like,
do you know what I really disliked about that match?
go on, yeah.
It's Goldberg's son coming in at the end of it to save
Yeah.
his dad. Now you have to remember his son Gage is only 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he stepped foot in a ring with Bobby Lashley to defend his dad. And he attacked Bobby Lashley first, right? He attacks Bobby Lashley from behind first. So Bobby Lashley, like they said, didn't know who was attacking him. That could have been anybody. So he flung him over. And yeah, he realized who it were. And he didn't give a crap. He still put him in the hurt lock and put him out. But if you're going to step foot in a ring, regardless of your age or your gender, you're going to get your ass kicked in it. That's a wrestling. That's what happens in wrestling.
I agree. So one of my issues with that is me and Shaz thought, this is perfect. The Goldberg saga is over. We can relax. We can just talk about something else. So whilst me and Shaz might disagree on the fact that whether he's a legend or that's good. It shows that we have difference of opinion. Absolutely, this is what the show is all about. The problem is Goldberg's son jumping in has given WWE another storyline angle whereby I watched Goldberg's reaction. I'm like, no, don't do this again. Don't do this again.
Yeah, because Goldberg's obviously going to come back from his injury and he's going to come after Bobby Lashley to avenge his son.
Yeah, exactly.
The next pay-per-view, he's going to win the world title from Bobby Lashley. And then a month later, he's going to drop it to either Bobby Lashley or probably Drew McIntyre or somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crown Jewel's coming in Saudi Arabia in a couple of months. So Goldberg's going to either win the title at Crown Jewel or before Crown Jewel and be the champion and drop it there. Because Goldberg isn't going to say no to going to Saudi Arabia because the money for them shows over in Saudi Arabia is huge for wrestlers. It's like a payday bonus for them, bro.
Exactly. And then Cena. So again,
Cena sucks, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
Cena sucks, yeah. Anyway, going back to Cena or Fruity Pebbles as we know him, we love to see it. He basically came back to take on Roman Reigns. Now, me and Shaz saw this fight in 2016, I believe, when they originally fought 2016, 2017. Yes, that's it, boys. Get it trending. We saw that fight, and Roman Reigns smashed him out of the park. Again, I think, you know what? I've realized what happened. WWE basically said, we need you to make Reigns look good. So come back.
And I don't see that, bro. I don't see that because Roman Reigns has beaten a lot of people since he's been a champ, since last SummerSlam. He's beaten Edge, Daniel Bryan, Jey Uso, not Seth Rollins, Cesaro. He's had a lot of challenges and he's beaten them all, and that's put him way over with the crowd. The gimmick that he has as the head of the table, the tribal chief, he's smashing it out of the park with that. He doesn't need to be beating people like Cena to help him get over because he's already over.
I agree with that.
I can understand if he was a face like he was before when they fought, and beating Cena would have helped him go over. But even then, it didn't help him because the crowd were into him as a face, bro. He can't pull that gimmick off as a face. This gimmick that he's got now has redefined his whole career. He will be remembered for this gimmick, bro, for his career.
One of the things I wanted to say is, yes, you're absolutely right. It probably doesn't need any more hyping up since he's become heel. But I would have loved to see him face Finn Balor, just because it's something I'd never seen before.
They have fought before, though. They fought leading up to SummerSlam when Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. So Finn Balor debuted on Raw. And there was a tournament to crown the first Universal Champion. Finn Balor beat Roman Reigns to get to the final and then beat Seth Rollins to take the title. Before we carry on, though, Shaz, we've got a comment here. Big up Ryan. Appreciate you tuning in, bro. Always.
Nice one, bro. Nice one.
Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the love and support, man. Always. But yeah, going back to that, bro. I would have liked to still see Finn Balor and Roman Reigns right now, because this Finn Balor and this Roman Reigns are different. This Roman Reigns is now the tribal chief, the head of the table. And this Finn Balor is now the Prince Finn Balor. So they're completely different to what they were. I think was it 2016, 2016, when 17 when they fought last. So it would have been really good if John Cena didn't bring his ass back in and steal that, that title opportunity from Finn Balor, because since that day, you haven't seen Finn Balor on a show.
I don't even know
where is he? Is he going to come back on SmackDown and challenge Roman Reigns now for the title? Or is he just going to come back and get lost in the shuffle? What was all that? Him coming back, trying to get an opportunity, and now it's gone.
That's what I mean. It goes back to, we can bring this up now since we're on it. It goes back to the creative thought process. So, yes, you're right. Fruity Pebbles came back. Crowd got hyped up by it for about 2 seconds. And then it went back to normal. As always, Fruity Pebbles. But like you said, we wanted to see something a bit creative.
That's staying there till the end of the show now, bro.
And we wanted to see someone like Prince Finn Balor. I think that would have been great. But as always, your boy Vince messes up again. But that's where I'm going to leave it. I mean, no, I enjoyed this.
You're always going back to Vince messing up, right? But these angles and these storylines they're not written by Vince. Yeah, they're approved by Vince, and they're written by the writers and the producers and whoever, man.
Who approves
and those are the people that need to go.
Who approves?
There's no way of putting it. No. I know Vince McMahon approves them, but he only approves what he's given in it, bro. He can only approve what he's given.
Yeah, no, but that's
so if he's giving all this bull crap, and hold on, bro, hold on. Okay. If Vince is given a ball of crap, like he probably is by these writers, he's gonna pick out the good piece of craps and say, right, we're gonna go with these, because he probably doesn't have the time to think of the storylines himself.
No, I get that. No, so that's a valid point.
Yes, it is Vince McMahon's fault because he's approving this bullshit, but he also needs to be held accountable and for not telling the writers to do better. He's just letting them get away with not even mediocre bullcrap, bro.
This is where I want to take the responsibility away from Vince. And like in NXT, for example, you got Triple H, you got Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, we've said this numerous times, bro.
And I will keep saying it.
And we will keep saying it. Yeah, you're right, bro. We will keep saying it, bro.
You gotta keep saying it until it drills on.
What other matches were on SummerSlam, bro? I know the tag team titles were.
I want to talk before we go into that. I want to talk about
this. Man's going straight on it. Yeah, the man Becky Lynch is back, people.
This was sick because me and Shaz were actually doing a podcast when this came on. It was the best bit. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that as well, bro. We're doing the wrestling one, weren't we?
Yeah, basically, we said we'll cover a different sport and we'll get a podcast out on the interim break, if we like. And then all of a sudden...
So the way that went down, bro, is we saw Bianca Belair was about to fight Sasha Banks, and we thought, you know what, allow this. This is going to be a boring one. Let's get the podcast out of the way because we've been meaning to do it all night. We literally sit down to do the podcast. And then next, we've got the TV on mute, so we don't know what is going on the screen. The next thing you know, Becky Lynch pops out, and then we had to put the volume up a little bit. And yo, what's going on here? Becky Lynch is back.
We're both in the podcast from the same room and looking this way. Okay, this is really awkward. Sorry, guys.
Watch that episode. It was actually the preview to Man United versus Southampton on Fergie time. You'll see me and Shaz look over to one side over and over again, and that's because SummerSlam is on the TV whilst we're doing that podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
great to see Becky Lynch back.
This part of the show was all wrong, bro. All wrong.
Yes, I'm gonna let you take away.
I'm gonna tell you why, bro. Yes, Becky Lynch is really over with the crowd, and I'm not gonna disagree. I'm not gonna argue with that because she is. She's probably one of the best female wrestlers WWE have, right? Her coming back is obviously good for the division, good for the women's division. Yeah, that's fine. But what I don't like that they've done here they've built up Bianca Belair for the past God knows how long, 12 months, since she's come over from NXT to be a powerful person in the division, right?
Yeah.
She has this whole WrestleMania is my destiny, winning the title at WrestleMania is my destiny, all this bullcrap, which is so lame anyway. But she does it anyway. She goes from the Royal Rumble, she wins WrestleMania, she beats Sasha Banks, she wins the title, and then she loses it in 10 seconds to Becky Lynch on SummerSlam. So that has now just ruined the whole character. How do you rebuild Bianca Belair from that?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You know what? If it was like Carmella who held the title and Becky Lynch said that, I wouldn't have an issue with it because it would have been
I would, because you can't do that to another talent, bro. You've just built up this talent, and now you've just ruined the whole 12 months work that you've done on that talent, and all that work that they've put in. It's just ruined, bro. But there's a comment here, Shaz, from Idris. I don't watch wrestling, but I will watch this stream. Appreciate the support. I really appreciate that, man. But bro, this whole thing, right? I understand Becky Lynch was due to come back, right? But they could have done it a different way, bro. They could have had maybe Carmella fight Bianca Belair and win, and then Becky Lynch come out. Or they could have saved it for SmackDown for the ratings on SmackDown. They could have done a lot of things with a return for Becky Lynch, but they ruined it.
You know what? No, but this goes back to the whole point of planning. So they knew
exactly, bro.
The cards were so bad.
Gonna go back to them idiots in the planning, bro.
It goes back to the fact that, and we'll touch upon this next topic in a minute. But it kind of leads on to what we're talking about. So you needed to bring back two people in order to save the show because it was that bad. But and let Shaz talk about the tag team matches because he wanted to bring that up. But
there was two. Was there two tag team matches?
Yeah,
the Raw and the SmackDown tag team titles. Right. Yeah. So I'll go to the SmackDown tag team titles first. We had the Usos defending against Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah.
Now, I'm quite happy that the Usos won. I'm quite happy that they've retained the titles. Sorry about that, folks. It looks like Shaz is having some technical difficulties. He had to jump out. He's just going to restart and he'll be back. But whilst he's gone, I'll carry on with what I was saying there. So I'm happy that the Usos are still the tag team champions because they deserve it. Yes, Jimmy Uso's had issues and whatnot, but you know what I mean. It's fine. He's back and he's trying his best to get away from those issues and pushing him with his brother as a tag team champions is good.
Yeah.
The problem that I had with this was Dominik Mysterio, and I'll keep saying it, he's not ready for the main roster. He skipped NXT. He hasn't wrestled, right? So his first match in a WWE ring was on SummerSlam last year, I believe, against Seth Rollins.
So how did he get the push to main roster, just out of interest?
He didn't even get a push to the main roster, bro. That's the thing. So Rey Mysterio had this feud with Seth Rollins on Raw.
Correct.
Where Seth Rollins took his eye out and all that crap, right? And then he brought Rey's family into it whilst Buddy Murphy was there, if you remember.
Oh, yes.
I think it was over on Raw or it might have been on SmackDown. It was on SmackDown as well, but it started off on Raw.
And then went to SmackDown,
So, and then Dominik came out to obviously support his father. He got involved physically, and then he was given his first match against Seth Rollins, bro, and that's just mad. Seth Rollins carried him through that match. If you've not seen it, Shaz, go back and watch that match and watch how bad Dominik was and watch how Seth Rollins carried him through that match, right?
No, I watched it. I remember it now.
The problem that I have, right, I don't mind Dominik Mysterio being a wrestler, right? Yes, it was always bound to happen. His father was a legend, or it still is, his father's one of the legends in wrestling, bro. Rey Mysterio Jr., people know him. He's one of the great luchadors of the business, right? And his son's going to want to follow in his footsteps. Oh, as you always do. But the problem is, right, I'm going to compare two people, right? So Dominik Mysterio skipped NXT. He skipped all that development and went straight to the main roster and started fighting, the big names like Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and whoever else. And now the Usos, Roman Reigns, and all that, right? But then he could have gone through NXT and built himself up to be, Rey Mysterio's son, but doing it himself, right? But he didn't. But Charlotte Flair had to go through NXT. Charlotte Flair had to build herself up as Charlotte Flair, even though she is arguably, she's the daughter of arguably one of the greatest wrestlers ever, Ric Flair. But she had to go through NXT. So the only difference is Dominik Mysterio is a guy and she's a girl. And we've talked about this before, that the female talent get treated a lot differently to the male talent in WWE. I'm not going to say in wrestling, because I think this is specific to WWE right now. So I would have liked to see Dominik Mysterio on his own build himself up to be a superstar in NXT and then get a push to the main roster, right? But fair enough, he skipped all that. It's WWE, they do what they want. And the matches, bro, he makes a lot of mistakes. Yes, he's talented, don't get me wrong. He is he's talented, but he needs a lot of time to develop. And he shouldn't be doing that on the main roster, because he's not only risking his own life, but he's risking other people's.
No, I agree with that. I think I like the guy Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I like him. I think he's
I like to see him develop.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a lot of room to develop, and you can tell by his earlier matches and some of his matches now that he's not up to par with the other wrestlers, and he won't be. I mean, look at Seth Rollins. Look how polished and how great of a worker he is. And look at people like Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode. Look how great they are as an in-ring talent, bro. And then when you see them fight Dominik Mysterio, you see the difference in the ability and the talent, because Dominik Mysterio hasn't had that experience. He hasn't had that chance. And that's his downfall. And that's why people aren't going to like him a lot, because he skipped everything and just gone onto the main roster. Now, from my understanding, WWE are looking at doing a storyline of Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio. So either Dominic's going to turn on Rey, or Rey's going to turn on Dominik. And I think that's just stupid. WWE do this quite a lot, bro. They do this quite a lot. So you had a tag team that I highly rated back in the days, Crime Time. They were smashing it on Raw, SmackDown, wherever. And then they split them up. They had Shad turn on JTG. Rest in peace to Shad.
Remember,
And I thought that was just a stupid move that they split them up, because they were, as a team, they were good. They were good together as a team. But splitting them up, they were lost in the shuffle on the singles roster. And the same happened to Enzo and Kaz. They split them up. They had Kaz turn on Enzo. If you notice a pattern, they have teams split up and they try and push the guy that's big, like Kaz and Shad. And then the smaller guy like Enzo and JTG, they get lost in the shuffle. But then the guy who's getting the push, the big guy, he's not up to par with what Vince wants, and then he gets lost in the shuffle. Now, it's just a shame that Shad passed away, because JTG and Shad could have come together as a tag team again. And I think they did the same with the Ascension. Correct me if I'm wrong, they split Connor and Victor up at one point.
Yes,
or did they not?
They did.
They did, didn't they? And then they released them because they didn't know what to do with them on the singles roster. And now they're a team on the independent scene called The Awakening, I think they're called.
Yep, correct.
And this is the problem that WWE have. They have these established teams like the Ascension, Enzo and Kaz, and even American Alpha. They split American Alpha up just to give Jason Jordan a chance to be Kurt Angle's son, and then he had to retire early because of his injuries. And there's other teams, Blake and Murphy. They were a brilliant team on NXT with Alexa Bliss as their manager, but they split them up on NXT even before coming onto the main roster. And then Blake and Murphy got, they got mixed around in different singles and different factions and stuff like that. And then I think as far as I know, they've both been released. There's a pattern here. They bring these tag teams up, they build them up, they split them up, and then they release them. It's just stupid, if you ask me. So all these established teams get split up, right? But then WWE just stick random people together as a team, like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Don't get me wrong, I love those two guys, man. Bobby Roode was one of my favorites back in NXT, and even before that in TNA. And Dolph Ziggler has always been one of my favorite in-ring workers because his in-ring work is amazing, man. It reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels, and Bobby Roode reminds me a lot of Mr. Perfect in the way he works. And sticking them together as a tag team, it's worked brilliantly because they're brilliant individually, but as a tag team, they're good as well. But WWE just stick tag teams together randomly. Like AJ Styles and Omos. Where the heck did that come from? Like, I get the deal. It's a reminiscence of Shawn Michaels bringing Diesel in as the two dudes with attitude, right? Omos is eventually going to realize he doesn't need AJ Styles. AJ Styles needs Omos, and he's going to turn on him like Diesel did with Shawn Michaels. It's going to happen, and that's the storyline that they're using. They're trying to bring that old storyline back up. And I know from experience that that's what's going to happen because this is WWE. They don't think of new things.
You know what? I can already see that Omos AJ storyline happen because we've seen it many a time before where they're trying to. I think AJ, like you said, this is a valid point. So here's another thing I wanted to jump in on.
Go for it, bro.
So Omos is basically carrying AJ Styles.
Kind of.
Okay, kind of, but you don't understand.
I get what you mean by that, but I'll let you finish.
Remember the hype when AJ Styles came to WWE in Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, and he was the second or third entrant, and Roman Reigns was there. This is a multi-time world champion that has come through the ranks. He doesn't need Omos to carry him because he's that good enough. I think it's again poor management of storyline. Same with Randy Orton. The RK bro, whatever's going on.
Started on that, bro.
Okay, bro.
Don't even get me started on that, bro. That's that's a whole nother kind of whoop ass that needs to be.
You get where I'm going, right?
I get where you're going, bro. Yeah, you're right though. AJ Styles has been used so badly recently. It's unbelievable. The guy went from being a contender for the world title, won it a couple of times, went down to Intercontinental, and now he's gone down to the tag team division. Really? This is AJ freaking Styles.
This is the guy that fought Undertaker in his last WrestleMania.
Yeah, this is the guy that carried TNA on his back for years.
Yeah.
This is a guy that can outshine, and I believe this, any wrestler on that current roster for WWE and AEW. He can outshine any of them, bro. On his day, he can outshine Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, John Cena, Roman Reigns, you name it. Stack them up and he'll knock them down one by one. This is AJ Styles we're talking about, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I know it's getting late, so I want to move on to a few other topics.
Sorry, bro. I got a bit carried away with that, didn't I, bro? Sorry about that.
That's fine. So I know this is another one that Shaz wanted me to elaborate on.
Yeah, I do want you to elaborate on this. I get your point, though. I do get your point before you go on.
Yes, it goes back to the point I made about John Cena and Goldberg. Mm-hmm. I love Edge, living legend. Loved this character, rated RKO. Loved what he did with Edge and Christian. Greatest tag team around.
One of the greatest tag teams WWE have ever had. Absolutely. And they dropped the ball by letting Christian go to AEW. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, that's a valid point.
WWE dropping the ball yet again.
So my issue with Edge here is that I love the guy, love this character, but again, him winning is pointless because. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to sustain? So I say I like to see the legends back, but it brings back.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Edge winning isn't pointless, bro.
Okay.
So all these other legends coming back, like Goldberg, whatever, they're old, right? Old, yeah. They shouldn't even be wrestling, but they're coming back. They're putting younger talent over, right? Which is
Okay.
fine. I'm okay with them putting younger talent over, right? The problem that I have is that I can see Goldberg winning that title in the next couple of months, and when he does, I'll be on this podcast, and you'll hear a lot of ranting on that one when that does happen. But let's get back to the point of Edge. Edge isn't back to put over the talent. Edge is back to carry on from where he left off before he had to retire. Edge wants to be winning titles. He's still got the hunger and the passion for it. And I think he does deserve maybe one more title reign, bro, before he officially, retires on his own terms.
But isn't the whole premise behind retiring, getting put into the Hall of Fame, sort of a nostalgic way to end it?
It is, bro. But the thing is, with Edge, it is a bit different because he thought he'd never wrestle again.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
After his neck injury. But he's had surgery on it, and I think he's used some new trial theory or new trial operation or new trial procedure or something that's helped his neck that much that he's been cleared to wrestle again.
Yeah.
And that's something that's probably shocked him because he didn't think he was ever going to wrestle again, bro. And now that he's back, he wants to pick up where he left off. He doesn't want to be coming back and putting other people over. He wants to come back and win world titles because he's got 7 years of pent-up aggression and frustration where he couldn't wrestle, and he needs to take that out and win titles, bro. Whereas people like Goldberg coming back, Goldberg should have retired a long time ago. He shouldn't be coming back a couple of times a year, and winning a title every year and then disappearing when he loses it. John Cena, there's another person I have a problem with. I hope he never wins another world title because I don't want to ever see John Cena beat Ric Flair's record. The only way that they can change that, the only way that I would be happy with that is if Ric Flair turns up in AEW and wins the world title there. But again, Ric Flair winning a world title now, it wouldn't be right because of his age.
Yeah, but this you're absolutely right. So I love Edge, and you're probably right that he's come back for one last shot. But I hope for his sake that this shot is the finale because I don't want his legacy to get ruined. When he retired, I was really emotional. So I thought, you know what? One of the greatest wrestlers I've seen is now gone. And I was
quite gutted. You know, when he came out and announced his retirement, I was quite gutted because I was really, even though he was a heel, he was the rated R superstar. He was a heel. Like in wrestling, I've always preferred heels to faces most of the time. Yeah, not in all cases, but in most cases, I have. Now, Edge plays a good heel, but he also does play a good face. But I prefer him as a heel, and it's the same with the Miz. I prefer the Miz as a heel because his promos as a heel are a lot better than when he's a face.
Yeah, I saw what happened recently. That's funny.
If you watch Raw, you know what I'm talking about. As a heel, he plays that character better. And right now, I believe Roman Reigns is doing the same thing. He's playing a better heel than he ever would that he would play a face. We've seen him as a face for so many years, and it didn't work out. The crowd actually booed him because they didn't like him. But now he gets booed, but for the right reasons because he's a heel.
Exactly. But you know what, Shaz? There's only one way we can end this segment of it, and this was probably the highlight of the night for me. It was literally
bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When Brock Lesnar's music hit, I actually buzzed off it, bro. And I know you did as well because you were sat next to me, bro.
I was like, I jumped up. I actually got some energy to wake up.
Yeah, it was like 5:30 in the morning. You're jumping up. I'm like, yo, man's got some energy from somewhere.
I was like, wow, that was sick. And you know what? I love seeing Paul Heyman run for the hills.
That was hilarious, man.
In stitches.
I was in stitches watching Paul Heyman shit himself from Brock Lesnar, bro. That was hilarious, bro. That was hilarious.
I mean, Reigns was hilarious because he went and stood on the turnbuckle and was like, nah, bro, don't do this right now. He knew. Yeah. At the moment,
if you saw Roman Reigns' face when Brock Lesnar's music hit, he was thinking, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
Not this again. Because he's
That,
dealt
that
with Roman Reigns. He's dealt with Brock Lesnar before.
and
Obviously, but
as the heading goes, Lesnar refusing to acknowledge Reigns.
of course
I
he
know
is.
he
I mean,
did
this is
directly
Brock
against
Lesnar we're
that.
talking about.
This is Brock
But
Lesnar.
before we carry on, though, bro, I want to talk about one thing. What the heck is up with Brock Lesnar's ponytail and beard?
You know what? I actually
That's not
like
acceptable, bro. No, it's not acceptable, bro.
I saw the Facebook meme you shared earlier of
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose. So it's quite funny how
That was classic, bro. I really enjoyed that.
that was hilarious.
Dean Ambrose has evolved, yeah, because
You know what?
he's
I
wearing
think
the
the best
same
thing
gear, man. That was crazy.
I think the best thing I like about Lesnar doing what he's done is that he's coming back as a face, which I think will be good to see because it's just a different dynamic. As for his ponytail, well, let's just call it having a bad hair day, and he woke up on the wrong side of bed.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think he's taken after his wife with the long hair and ponytails, bro.
but no, I'm glad to see how that storyline develops. And
Yeah, I mean, the way I see that going, bro, is Paul Heyman's gonna turn on Roman Reigns because Paul Heyman's turned on CM Punk when Brock Lesnar came back. He's turned on other people for Brock Lesnar, and I don't see him sticking around with Roman Reigns much longer.
Actually, you know what? I think you know what the highlight of the night, and Shaz absolutely killed it because after we watched SummerSlam, Shaz made me watch the best 10 minutes promo I'd seen in 10 years. It was like going back to the 90s, literally the entrance music plus the 10-minute promo of CM Punk. And my man dissed the WWE so hard.
Right. So after SummerSlam, right, this was 5:30 in the morning. So we'd stayed up all night to watch SummerSlam, right? We watched it and some parts were good, right? Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, but not as much as it wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be for a SummerSlam pay-per-view. And that's the honest truth, right? I was expecting more from it. Right. So I'm like, Shaz, right? Before we go to bed, before we go to sleep, I'm gonna make you watch 10 to 15 minutes of AEW.
Yeah.
And I put on the start of AEW Rampage where CM Punk returned, and Shaz absolutely loved it. He said that 15 minutes was better than the whole SummerSlam pay-per-view.
Absolutely. I don't disagree.
My man loved it. And this guy's only just started watching AEW, so I think he's on like maybe the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And when you get to the first pay-per-view, bro, we're going to come back and review what you think of AEW so far.
I mean, you know what? Like, as Shaz said, it was best 15 minutes I watched because it took me back to my youth days when I used to watch this stuff. But you know what? What was prominent about his 10-minute speech was he's basically said Vince holds people back or WWE hold people back. It was a mistake for him to leave in the first place. Impact Wrestling or TNA as it was called back in the day. And I think he's looking to just
no, it was Ring of Honor. It was Ring of Honor he was talking about, bro.
Apologies, Ring of Honor. And he's just looking back to come back to the main roster, as he likes to call it now. And you know what? I buzzed off the crowd reactions. That was like in your face.
That crowd was hot, bro. That crowd,
Chicago crowd was on fire.
The reason they were so hot, bro, it was his hometown, bro, Chicago.
Chi-town, eh?
And his first match back is going to be in Chicago, all out against Darby Allin, bro. That's going to be
the best thing was I saw Darby Allin, and next to him I was like, it took me a few seconds to process, but I saw Sting, I was like, raw, bro. This just gets better and better.
I remember, bro.
But yeah, that was my take on it. That was the best 15 minutes I've seen in 10 years. But
yeah, man, that's what
it
was good,
about,
man. I watched. I will tell you something. On Friday night, I was watching TV and I didn't realize that it was so late. And I thought, you know what? AEW Rampage is on tonight and everyone's talking about CM Punk returning. And I switched it on and I sat down and I thought, he's probably not going to turn up at the start of the show. It's probably going to be towards the end.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So then I watched it and it was live, right? And I thought, if it gets too much for me, I'm just going to go to bed. And then they panned around the crowd and all you could hear was CM Punk being chanted. And the next thing you know, Cult of Personality played. And I was buzzing, bro. I was buzzing. I sat up from my seat. I put the volume up to listen to his promo. And that was it. I watched his promo. And that was it. I went to bed, bro. I was done. I didn't want to watch the rest of Rampage. I watched it after. I watched the rest of the show after, but I only really wanted to watch CM Punk, and I got to watch it at the start, and then I just went to bed, bro.
I don't blame you, man.
It was a big moment,
amazing.
that though. That's a big moment in the history of AEW that CM Punk's back, because he's already bringing a lot of buzz to him. They've already got a lot of buzz leading up to that. Now, Daniel Bryan's going to be debuting soon. From what I've heard, they're going to be in Washington, which is his hometown.
Yeah.
He's going to be debuting soon. I believe Buddy Murphy, from what I can see, is going to be debuting soon in AEW, because I don't know if you remember, Shaz, but you know Malachi Black, Aleister Black from WWE?
Yeah, I remember.
Before he debuted in AEW, they did this little video on YouTube where he was released from like an insane asylum.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned up in AEW after that. And that they've done another promo video of Buddy Murphy being in the insane asylum, being locked up basically, and then he's being released. And there's a lot of hype about it that he's going to be turning up in AEW. And basically, these promos are showing that these people, what they've been in an insane asylum all these years, which is classed as WWE because they've been locked up, and their mind's been locked up. I think that's what they're trying to say.
No,
and now they're being released into AEW, into the proper wrestling world.
No, absolutely, I agree, and I think it'd be interesting to see how these AEW, because I'm going to carry on watching it. It'd be interesting to see how that pans out, especially after what I've just seen recently. But you know what they say, we love to see it, and hopefully more of it.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Now, this episode, we were going to go on and do. We were going to review NXT Takeover 36, but the show's gone on long enough already, and it's hit 12 o'clock, so we are going to have to cut it off now. But we haven't got a video plan for tomorrow, so what we'll do is we'll come back tomorrow with all things wrestling, and we'll review NXT Takeover 36.
Absolutely, yeah.
I watched NXT Takeover on Monday or Tuesday, and I've actually watched NXT's episode after as well. But I won't talk too much about NXT right now, but we will come back tomorrow and review that. I actually really enjoyed Takeover. I thought Takeover was better than SummerSlam, match-wise. Surprises-wise, obviously, SummerSlam's always going to win because they've got Brock Lesnar coming back, Becky Lynch coming back. So it was always going to be that, the main roster show is going to obviously outshine surprise-wise and buzz-wise. But NXT TakeOver, their matches, they always outshine the main roster pay-per-views match-wise. And they have been doing for years, bro.
Yeah, and we will cover that more tomorrow. It was an exciting episode. I actually watched Takeover myself as well, the highlights.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it, especially a couple of matches. Who was it that fought? What's his name?
Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Three stages of hell. That was
insane. That was absolutely insane. And I can't believe the ending. I'm still recovering from watching that ending. I was like, raw. No way.
Which ending are you talking about? Of that match?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good one, bro. It was a good one.
But we'll tell you our thoughts on that tomorrow.
Are there any matches on SummerSlam that we've not gone through yet, bro? Because I think we've missed a couple out, bro.
I covered.
I'm gonna have a look now. I'm just gonna have a quick look. So obviously we talked a little bit about AJ and Omos, but we didn't obviously talk about the match they had with RK Bro. RK Bro won that, which I don't see going much further. I see Randy Orton turning on Riddle like he has done already, and then they'll drop the titles somehow. I think Randy Orton will just walk away from the ring whilst they're defending the titles against AJ and Omos again. Something like that. We saw Eva Marie get beat by Alexa Bliss. Damian Priest won the US title that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
The Usos defended the tag titles against the Mysterio successfully. Obviously, then we had the Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Carmella thing going down after that. Oh yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Jinder, bro. We didn't even speak about it. because we all know what happened. Drew McIntyre won that. There was no way he was going to lose that. And then we saw Charlotte Flair win her 15th title, bro. 15th title in WWE. I think that's including NXT. 15th title, bro. What the heck is that even about?
Trying to match your dad's record.
It's just crazy, bro. I don't understand why they're trying to get her up to 16 titles. That's just mental.
Well, it's the same reason why they've stopped Cena going past 16. So basically, what they'll do is they'll probably get Charlotte to go on to.
It's just crazy, bro. I mean, at the start of the show, we had Big E beat Baron Corbin as well, didn't we?
Yes, that's correct.
Obviously, after Charlotte Flair won, we had Edge versus Seth Rollins. Now, I do want to touch on this a little bit. I know we're running out of time on this show, bro, but the entrance for Edge on this with the Brood music and the Brood entrance,
that was brilliant.
That was nostalgic, bro. That took me back to them Brood days where Edge, Christian, and Gangrel would come up through the fire. That was brilliant, man. And on the SmackDown before, they had the bloodbath, but it wasn't red. It was just black slime. I don't think they wanted to use the red color for blood for some reason. This is WWE being weird. But I remember back in the days, the Brood would do a bloodbath on people. The lights would go out, the red blood would fall down, and people would be covered in fake blood. Seeing that happen on SmackDown, and then the entrance for the Brood on Raw, on SummerSlam, sorry, that was brilliant, man. I'd give WWE 10 out of 10 for that part. But the match itself, Edge and Seth Rollins, was a brilliant match. They both put on a show. The ending, I found a bit strange, where Edge just smashed his face into the ring, and then Seth Rollins tapped out. I found that really weird. I think it could have ended a different way, maybe with Edge doing a different finisher, like one of his old finishers, the DDT that he used to do. The floating DDT. Maybe he should have done that as a finisher to go back to the Brood days properly. That's just my take on it. After that, we had Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. Again, I don't really want to talk about that too much, bro. We've already said what we wanted to say on that. Then we had the main event, Roman Reigns and John Cena. And obviously we've spoke about that. And then Brock Lesnar coming back. Now, one little thing I want to touch on. After the pay-per-view finished, after the cameras had shut off,
I saw
John Cena came to the ring and got German suplexed and an F5 from Brock Lesnar just for the fans. And I thought that was brilliant. Just let the fans go home after seeing John Cena get his ass kicked again. Because I think that's where Suplex City all started, at SummerSlam, when John Cena fought Brock Lesnar back a couple of years ago.
That's where Cena took a hell of a lot of Suplex Cities.
Yeah, I think there was like 20 odd in that match as 20. Well.
I'm surprised he was standing after that.
Yeah, I wanted him to, not come back after that. But this is WWE, innit, bro? But yes, people, we're going to end it there. Before we do go, though, we missed it at the start. So please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Get yourself added into the prize draw. We're going to be doing it this Sunday. The prize draw we did before is null and void now.
Ignore it. It's done.
Due to obviously issues between ourselves and whoever won, we're going to have to do it again. So we're doing that this Sunday for everyone who's subscribed, not just the first 100. So anyone that's subscribed up until now or up until Sunday will get involved in there. Make sure your subscription is visible. If we can't see it, we can't add you to the draw. Send us a screenshot if you are subscribed. I don't mind using a screenshot. Yeah. And what I want to add into that, if you subscribe to YouTube and you're subscribed to our Twitch, you'll get 2 entries into the draw. Okay, so if you can follow us over on Twitch, get yourself subscribed here on YouTube, you will get 2 draws. You'll get more chances to win that prize. So I want to give people more chances. So if you're subscribed to both, you'll get a chance, 2 chances in that draw. So your name will be in there twice. I'll show you all the names before we do go and do the draw, just so you can see that your names are in there twice if you are in that, if you do subscribe to here and Twitch. But yeah, as always, official Twitter and Facebook are scrolling at the bottom. Our personal ones are just here in the corners. Hit us up with anything that you want us to do, any type of videos, any type of content you want us to bring, drop us a personal message, tag us in it, tag us the official finished article, go on to Facebook and leave us a message there, whichever you prefer. We'll get back to you and we'll try and bring the content that you want to see, because that's what this channel is about, is bringing the content that, you know, the viewers want to see. So I appreciate everyone subscribing, appreciate everyone tuning in. But until tomorrow, we'll be back again tomorrow right here on the finished article with all things wrestling, covering NXT TakeOver 36. So until then, people, too sweet.
Too sweet.